Hey, welcome to another episode of the Fgeitas Show. It's Thursday. Once again, we're here to deliver you the hottest piece of news and the hottest piece of ass. What? No. No, that's not. Only half of that is actually true. Only half of that is actually true. And it's the news, unfortunately. Welcome to another Thursday. So this is gonna be a weird one. I didn't have much time to prepare, actually, but because I was away for the weekend, but I did play some video games. I was on a small trip to Copenhagen this weekend, just to check some sites and celebrate my girlfriend's birthday. It was kind of cool. Copenhagen, like, I felt that I did not explore as much as I wanted to, but definitely left me like enough for me to just go like, hey, I really want to come back here and just enjoy some more of this awesome Danish like city. It's really good. It's a really nice place to visit. In the meantime, welcome people in chat. Hey Rufox, hey Renee, how you guys doing? Yeah, Copenhagen was like freaking amazing. I can tell you guys a little bit about like that story. So we left here like Saturday around I think you should, yeah, that was a good picture. We left Saturday like around midday here in Portugal, but the flight got delayed, so we got like to Copenhagen would be like around 8 p.m. their time already, plus the landing and not landing. It was 9 p.m. when we got to the hotel, and it was supposed to be like 2 or 3 hours earlier. But other than that, like, trip went fine. It's the Dutch sense of humor, and their bluntness, I guess, without being rude or anything. Like they are very blunt about what they mean. And so we got to the hotel like after the delay, and we were super starving because we only ate at 11 a.m. here before we take off. And we're like, yeah, this should be like enough to just get by. And as we land, we just figured something out to go to like some place to eat there. So because it was like 21, and usually Nordic countries, Danish, yeah, actually, yeah, Danish. That's my bad. Usually like Nordic countries close stuff very early. So there's not a lot for you to walk around and get, like a proper meal. And obviously the hotel kitchen was already closed. So we got there and like we are making the check-in, and we asked the guy at the counter like, hey, is there like some place we can like just get a snack, just like something just like to grab a quick bite, because we are actually starving and we really need something to eat. And we noticed they have like a refrigerator with some sandwiches and some sodas on the side, also some beer. And they're like, if there's not like anything nearby, I can just buy the sandwiches and like we'll take them up to the room and we'll just eat those. And like it's more than enough. We just like don't want to go to sleep like hungry as we were. And the guy just turns to me and is like, oh yeah, like don't do that. Like there's if you get out of the hotel. By the way, it was snowing as fuck. Like it was actually snowing as fuck. I've never seen so much snow in my life. But the guy's like, if you exit the hotel and you take a a left turn and you look to the right side of the road, it's like, I'm gonna say like 50, 100 meters max. You'll find two places. One is a grocery store called Neto, and the other one is like a small shop that they have hot sandwiches if you guys want. And we're like, yeah, sure, like why not? And the guy's like, yeah, don't buy those like from the hotel. Those are super expensive and they're actually like not quite as good. So just go down the road. They're actually super better. And I'm like, okay. So I mean, you could have made a sale right here, but I guess you chosen to just be a cool guy and and just sell us like some cool sandwiches from down the road from a local shop. And I'm like, yeah. So we went there, and actually like those sandwiches were like for like cheap I guess like snack bar sandwiches, they were actually pretty good. And that was like our first experience as soon as we got to the hotel. Like pretty cool, dude. And like we went to sleep, it was super late. On the trip though, I actually had time. I took my Steam Deck with me because I didn't want to, you know, there's like, it's a 3.5 hour flight. It's not that big of a deal, but also I don't want to like sleep through the flight. So I took my Steam Deck. And you guys remember like last week I said I was playing Wolfenstein, and I found out the problem with the cross saved. So like Wolfenstein 1 doesn't have the cross save compatibility with the cloud system on Steam. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just like play this game here, I guess. And so I took the game on my trip, and I actually managed to finish it, which we can talk about like a little bit later. But otherwise, like the trip was cool. Like it was just, we were there like for all Saturday and a bit of Sunday as well. And Saturday was like the day where we like roamed the city the most. We took a boat tour in the morning. It was like 1 hour boat tour around the canals, just to check like the major spots in the city. We actually saw the Little Mermaid. It's as disappointing as people say. It's like, it's a small statue, probably smaller than me. And there were like a bunch of tourists around just like taking photos. Like, yeah, I guess it's there. It's like you barely see it. And we went on a walking tour over the afternoon. Walking tour ended up on a very specific place called Freetown Christiania, which is a hippie commune located like on the almost downtown, right? And it's so weird that thing just exists there. So it's like they consider themselves like a separate state from Denmark, like it's a micronation, and they're like, it's basically like a Marxist/anarchist community. They allow for soft drugs being sold there, but you have bars, you have restaurants to go there, you have shops like clothing shops. They work almost independently, although they do have deals with the Denmark community, with the Copenhagen community, where they go to, you know, welfare schools and welfare hospitals as well. But you can apply to live there. There's like 850 to 1,000 people, I believe, in that small micronation near Denmark. Like it's such a like peculiar place, and you can just go in and out. Like they don't, like, it's not a dangerous neighborhood or anything, although locals advise you to go during the day and not during the night. But you can just go there and get in and buy stuff, get a coffee, buy some, you know, some hash if you want, or some weed. The only thing they don't allow, it's like, I mean, it's not strictly forbidden, but they say, hey, please don't take any photos, because like photos can be used as evidence if something goes wrong, right? And like they try to keep their lives also private. But also, like, I guess the locals don't like to feel like monkeys in cages, right? Which is totally understandable. Like, sure, it's a micronation. It's a very specific community that developed there, but also like people are trying to just get on with their lives, living in a different type of economic society, I guess. But they shouldn't be treated as like animals in a cage or like a zoo for you to just go in and say hi, right? So yeah, it's kind of cool. Like it was a very, very like enlightening trip. Ate like probably some of the best hot dogs that I ever had in my entire life. Their pickles are fucking amazing, man. Like I don't know if you ever seen like Danish pickles. So before we went there's a show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil, and it's about this guy. He wrote a TV show called Everybody Loves Raymond. It was one of the writers. So Phil Rosenthal, I believe. He wrote Everybody Loves Raymond, and now he has this show where like he goes around the world just trying different types of food. So we saw the show about Copenhagen, and we're like, okay, there's stuff there that we need to go, because they have wonderful food. I'm gonna say we did not went to Noma, okay? Noma, which is like, if you guys don't know Noma is it's considered like one of the best restaurants in the world. It was consecutively the best restaurant, like the best Michelin star restaurant, like several years in a row. And like, good luck getting a table there, and you're probably paying at least 800 euros for a meal per person. Okay, so like we did not went to Noma because one, I can't afford it, and second, you could not get a table at all. But we went to like the hot dog stands that we went that Phil went there, called Dope. I can't. Sorry if any Danish person actually hears me pronounce this, but it's called Dope. The organic sausage, man. And it's really, really good. It's really, really good. They have like this big hot dog on a smaller bun that's covered in remoulade and Danish pickles and fresh pickled onion as well. And oh my god, it's so freaking good. I could not believe what I was like. It's the best hot dog I've ever eaten. Like if you ever go to Copenhagen, just eat a fucking hot dog. Like just do yourself a favor and try the best hot dog of your life. And same goes for the burger that they had there called Gasoline Grill. Which is like it's a burger stand literally in the middle of a gas station. Okay, like, and it's like 3 people working there. And the burgers are also super simple, just like meat, cheese, onion, Danish pickles as well, and like some lettuce. But the ingredients are so good that you just like it's probably like top tier in terms of burgers. And apparently they all like both of them participate in some like a food fair that they have around town that's sponsored by Noma. Or like it's organized by the Noma people, so the famous Michelin restaurant. So technically, I ate Noma food, kind of, not really. I mean, I wish. I'm just gonna say that I had just to make myself feel better. But yeah, like Copenhagen, amazing. Like the views are awesome. If you go there during winter, take like snow appropriate attire. Otherwise, even like the like if you take boots or something, like just make sure they're appropriate for walking. It's Noma Jason, I guess. Yeah. Like take boots that are ready for snow, and don't be like me that just took. I mean, I took some warm socks, and I went with my sneakers. Right, the sneakers were okay. Like they were warm enough to keep me going through the day. But man, I almost slipped twice and fell on my face during our walks. Like I did not actually landed on my face, but it was super close. It was like, oh shit, and actually like pull the muscle on my back, so that my back kind of hurts now. But it was like we were just walking. It was actually in Christiania, so like we were just walking, and we were like, me and girlfriend were just talking to each other, and suddenly like there's like a small slope, and you see like my body just trying to rotate but keep itself like straight and not die on that thing. So it's like I'm just whoop, and, okay, I got it. I just stay there for like a while. I'm good. Like I did not fall. Okay. My God. And also beware of bikes. Beware of bikers. Like so like you will not see a lot of traffic on that town. Like it's quite flat. So everyone just travels by bike, regardless if it's snowing, if it's raining, if it's super sunny. Everyone just travels by bike, and it's fine. Like that's actually amazing. But beware of bikers, because like my girlfriend almost was hit by 2 or 3. That was not great. But if you are aware like of the bike lane, you should be fine. But bikers are a fucking menace. Like everyone just like goes like takes a bike everywhere. Like if you go to a bar, you take a bike. If you go to work, you take a bike. Like I've seen like some cars roaming around the city, and you could definitely tell they were like either service cars or someone was driving in or out of the city. So yeah, like be fucking aware. Be fucking aware of bikes if you go there. Copenhagen, like amazing town. Like I did not expect to like that as much. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to like that city so much. It's very, very cool. And hopefully I'll return there like soon. Maybe near the summer though. Like the weather was freaking cold, and I don't like hot weather, or at least like hot to the point that you're sweating, you know. But actually, if it's too cold, you're like, okay, I also don't want to like do anything here. I just want to be covered in blankets. The amount of bike near misses in Germany was insane. Yeah, it's probably around the same. But for you to have an idea, me and my girlfriend were like in the last morning that we stood there, we were able to cross a whole roundabout. No traffic signs, no nothing. We just crossed the whole roundabout straight through the middle, and not a single car went by. And we were talking like 10:30 a.m. and on a Monday. So it's actually insane. Like no one travels by car there. It's crazy. Which makes sense. Like if the city is so flat, you can actually like go by bike anywhere. It's not like, for instance, Porto, where you turn a corner and suddenly you have like a 15-degree hill to go up, and like, yeah, I'm not doing bike in Porto. I just rather walk. Like, just fucking no, right? I mean, you now have the electrical bikes that kind of help, but even then, like if you turn a corner and you see the big hills, like I think it's easier for me to walk, I guess. Like it's just gonna be better and more control. It's actually crazy. I am serious. That plays a role on how fit people were in. Oh yeah, obviously. Like that's like one thing that I noticed a lot was you would see like there was snow all of the 3 days that we were there. You'd see like they were just built different. Like they are used to the snow, right? So you just go there and you see moms walking around with like their kids on the car, and it's like -5, -10, like whatever, and the kids are just like sleeping, just sleeping there. Hey Nuno, welcome to chat. But yeah, like they're just used to the cold. Like kids are just sleeping on their like baby car, like hanging around, and the parents just walking them by on the middle of a snowstorm, and like whatever. Like I don't care. Like just fuck you, kid. It's fine. like it's cool. Like it's actually pretty cool. People are super nice. The humor they have, it's top notch. They are very not Detroit, Copenhagen actually. Copenhagen. Like the humor they have there, it's actually pretty funny. We were on a boat tour. Yeah, Detroit's in a funny state right now. Yep, but like we were on the boat tour on Saturday morning. No, actually, sorry, Sunday morning. Sunday morning we were on the boat tour, and the guy is talking about how like Sweden and Denmark had some wars between them, like on the at the frontier, right? And he's saying like we lost a lot of wars, and later in the tour I'll let you know why I think we lost so many wars. And I'm like, okay, that's a thing, I guess. And the guy was like really funny, like he was really knowledgeable about the places that he was showing. So we got to this place where now I think it's like a restaurant or something, but it used to be like a brewery, but a brewery like from like that belonged to the monarchy, right? So like it's a king's brewery. And apparently one of the things like the soldiers were paid in, like for their salary, they would get paid 10 liters of beer for their salary. So I think it was like weekly or something. So 10 liters of beer, they would get hammered pretty quickly, I guess. And he's like, yeah, I think that's also why we lost the war. Like our soldiers were probably too drunk to win their wars. I'm like, okay, I can't believe they're actually like they're a little bit of that British humor, like the self-flagging humor, I guess. And like they don't take it like as seriously as some people would. It's very funny. Like Copenhagen, like, yeah, 10 out of 10, like amazing thing. The only problem is that city is super expensive. I actually paid 10 euros for 2 espressos, and I like, oof. I really wanted to, like, I really needed an espresso, but paying 10 euros for 2, like, it hurt my soul. Yeah. So the stream's gonna be on Friday. They're gonna keep on Thursday for now, but I'll let you guys know if they actually swap for Friday. There's a pretty big chance they start being on Friday. But yeah, like 10 euros for espresso. Like I think overall the food, like I just ate street food there. And I don't think I ever paid less than 20 euros. They use the Danish krones. And so I kept checking like the converter to see like how much it would be. Not 10 euros for an espresso, but for 2, actually. So for me and my girlfriend. Then again, it was technically 4 espressos. We asked for a double shot because we really needed espresso. But even then, like, we're talking 2.5 euros for each shot of espresso. It's quite an expensive city. I don't think I had a single meal below 20 euros, to be honest. Even if it's like we went to get some pastry, some Danish pastry on the bookshop near the Round Tower, and like so there was like a bookshop, and there was like there was like a pastry inside the bookshop, and we paid like 20 euros for 2 double shot espressos and 2 Danish pastries. Some Kennelsnagel or whatever that thing is called. I don't know. I'm probably butchering this name, but it was like this like cinnamon bun that they had there. Like pretty good though. Like I'm not. It's expensive, but you eat it and you're like, yeah, okay. Like I get it. Everyone. I guess it's expensive if you take into account like your like Portugal's paycheck, right? If you take into account, Copenhagen's paycheck, it's probably not expensive. My espresso is 35 cents at home. I think mine is less because I got one of those bean to cup machines. So like they're quite expensive. I get it, but on the long run, if you get like a grinder and actually like if you grind the beans yourself, I think I have like 10, 11 euros for espresso. I think. I pay like, and I don't even get like the cheapest beans. It's like 15 euros for a kilo, and it lasts me for 120 shots of espresso, which is like a month, I guess. But we do drink a lot of coffee here because like I work from home. Girlfriend sometimes works from home 3 days a week as well, so like it was starting to like really put a dent on the budget, on the monthly budget, because we would just like go through an 80 pack or something like in 2 weeks, not even that sometimes. But yeah, so in the meantime, like yeah, I finished Wolfenstein. I'm gonna give the signal because we're gonna play video games here. I finished Wolfenstein: The New Order during this trip because I took my Steam Deck with me, and I was like, yeah, so there's two reasons why I was playing this game on Steam Deck. One is that because I did not have the cloud save enable. The game does not have cloud save enable on Steam, so like if I wanted to play on PC and on Steam Deck, I would have to start a different game on each system, which it's starting to become like one of the, like Steam Deck almost ruined my gaming experience, because now it's like if I'm gonna buy a game, I'm gonna check, look, does it have Steam Cloud enable? Yeah, okay, sure. If it has, like, I might get it. If it's Steam Deck verified, it's definitely 100% I'm buying this. If it's not verified, I start to wonder if I'm like, do I want to play this on my desktop? Do I want to be like sitting at the place where I work like 8-10 hours a day and then go back there just to play some games? Like, it starts to like change your perspective on the way that you want to play video games. And I'm a lazy bastard. Like I rather play video games. I don't mind playing video games on my 4K TV at 720p if I can run them directly from Steam Deck. So yeah. I got Wolfenstein installed and I went through the game mostly on the like during the nights I was at the hotel. It took me like 10 hours to finish that game. It's pretty good for like the game that I thought I was getting. Like gunplay feels super awesome. Like the way the gunplay feels, where you burst open the door and you just start shooting, especially with the dual wield weapons, because you can dual wield most of those weapons on that game. Like that. They really pack a punch, and if you have gore enabled, you can just go there, like shoot the leg out, and you can hear the Nazi guy like, "Oh my god, I lost my leg!" It's really entertaining, and you just like shoot everywhere. But the game doesn't let you be all commando. Like sometimes the game rewards you for being stealthy, and that's also kind of neat. To the point where I had some struggles on later levels. Like I wanted to, like I played the game on normal basically, and like some levels down the line really makes you like fight for your life. Like you need to actually think ahead of what you're about to do instead of just going in that room and shoot everything that moves, because those guys are going to shoot back at you and they're not going to miss those many shots. It's pretty cool. Like I feel so. The only problem for me is like, first, I was playing on Steam Deck, because if I play first-person shooters on Steam Deck, I don't get as much motion sickness. Have a good meeting, Luna. Because it's like a smaller screen, and like my motion sickness is pretty severe. at this point in life. I was playing like last week before I did the show. I played last week on my TV screen, and like after an hour, I got up and it was pretty bad. Like I was feeling like lightheaded, a little bit sick, and I had to grab onto my walls just to go to bed after playing for like an hour and a half, I think. But playing on a small screen does not affect me as much, so that was like the perfect experience to play a first-person shooter. And so like gunplay feels great. The levels are okay-ish. They kind of blend in a little bit together, except for like a couple of them. But the weirdest thing about this game is it's the weird dissonance between the campy type of gameplay that you have. So like you're playing versus Nazis that have pretty advanced technology. They have mecha suits, they have robot dogs and giant robot dogs, they have zombie soldiers. They went to the moon and they have a base on the moon. So like it's pretty campy, right? Feels more like a parody in the vein of, I guess, Evil Dead, if you're like familiar with those movies. They're not pretty serious. They're just like kind of campy. But then every time Blazkowicz opens his mouth, it's the most serious and depressing thing ever. He narrates the whole thing. Like, I mean, obviously he was a POW because he got captured by the Nazis and went and stayed like 12 years in a asylum run by those same Nazis. And he sounds very bleak. Like it's a very, very serious game in its tone as he narrates the whole thing. But then you go into the gameplay and the guys just ramble. And it's so dissonant that it's almost funny in a way that like the way he talks about his life experiences, his friends that he had, his love life. It's all like the most depressing shit, and then suddenly he picks up 2 shotguns and is just blasting people. It was like I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just like if you are pretty sensitive to these types of things, of this weird dissonance between video games and video game narratives, it might put you off a little bit. Yeah, like it's definitely like something to be on the lookout if you are not enjoying, if you do not enjoy those types of things. That being said, I finished the game. I did not do all the collectibles. Like I don't care. Like I'm not doing all the collectibles. I checked what that would unlock. It's just like harder difficulty stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about this. Like there's no secret ending or anything, so whatever. I'm not gonna be like the tryhard guy. I did install Old Blood right away, which I did not start yet, but at least I think I'm gonna go through the whole experience now. Since I'm here, right, I'm just gonna go through the whole Wolfenstein thing. Which I'll let you know, like maybe next week how that thing is going. I'll probably play like most of the weekend now. Other than that, I don't think I played Balatro. Like also played Balatro on my way to the plane and on the way back, and it's still Balatro. It's still super cool to play the game. But yeah, like you guys are here to talk about news, right? And not about my trip to Copenhagen and my flexing of my trip. I'm also super thirsty. So I'm gonna say we're gonna go into the news. And quite a lot happened, like quite a lot of weird week to talk about. I always feel like as I'm starting the weekend, like, yeah, this week is gonna be super chill. It's not gonna happen a lot. We're just probably gonna have a couple of announcements and some like weird story, and suddenly it's like Thursday comes in or Tuesday comes in and it's like, okay, it's raining stories now, and I'm like, fuck, okay, I have a lot to talk about now. And the first one, like, it's something that it's kind of recently ish. And it's Microsoft says it uses AI to revive classic Xbox games. So actually, first of all, we should go into here because Xbox has built an AI model that can generate video game visuals and actions. The new model is partly trained on 2022's Bleeding Edge. So yeah, they made a new AI model called Muse. Microsoft named it Muse, developed by Microsoft's game intelligence team in collaboration with Ninja Theory. And I guess this is one of the reasons why Hellblade also took so long. They were also developing this on the side. And there's like a bunch of footage that I think I'm gonna show you here. I mean, I thought this was the footage, but turns out it's just a freaking screenshot. That's not good, man. That's not how you do it. What the hell? No. Why would you put the example here and not, you know? So let's see if the website has actually their videos. Oh, there you go. Generated examples of gameplay. There's no zoom in. I guess if I zoom in like this, I guess you guys can see it, kinda. Barely. Okay, cool. Thank you. And you just get like bigger symbols. Fine. This new Tony Hawk is not a new Tony Hawk. Like so basically what I've read was that they've made like the first 10 frames of, like, they showed a screenshot or like 10 successful 10 sequential screenshots of a video game, and they also placed the input on the AI generation, and they could create a video game, like, or some like weird type of gameplay generated by AI. Honestly, I have no idea what this will bring in terms of a future for video games. Like, obviously the tech still looks pretty crappy, as you can see. Like, if you look at the videos, like, you can see it's still pretty choppy. The lines are kind of like just wiggling everywhere because it's failing to just produce clean edges. But obviously this is gonna make it better. Like, I don't know, like, it's from a tech perspective, obviously this looks pretty neat. Like, it's the fact that you can generate video games just by prompts, right? At the same time, like, I still think this looks pretty shit, to be honest. And I think we are a little bit miles away of being able to develop a full game just via AI. Just like say something like, "Hey, build the next Tony Hawk," right? And the computer will just do it. And I think you'll always need software developers just to at least check if the thing is actually being built correctly. What I can see this being a cool thing for is like indie developers that want to use this. It's like creating a framework of the game and then actually developing the game from that framework. But it will cut corners to make the basis of the whole thing. I still think like people should learn how to code, because if something goes wrong, they need to realize what's wrong and not be like, "Oh, this kind of went wrong, let me try the prompt again," and then you get a different error. But the AI model is kind of whack, right? Like, you can see most of the footage. It's kind of jank. Like, it feels like, yeah, it's Bleeding Edge. It's that weird game Bleeding Edge. I can actually show you guys like the trailer from the game. I don't think this game ever lived. Is it still for sale? Jesus Christ. $30 for a hero shooter. It is what it is.
This is a citizen's announcement. Following the illegal hacking of human augment systems, black market cybernetic technology continues to spread globally.
On tonight's program, we discuss how...
Let's go forward.
Was I supposed to shadow something here?
And see what's going on.
Let's go, Misfit! Get to the objective!
Yeah, like this was a hero shooter. Like it looks super crispy and clean, obviously. But obviously this game never took off because, you know, $30 on a place where free-to-play games exist. It was not.
Why do we fight?
It was not going to do well, obviously. So it is what it is. In the meantime, they say they can also use that AI to revive classic Xbox games. So we have Blinks the Time Cat here, just to make sure. The company's main demonstration of Muse showed how it could generate video game visuals using training data from Ninja Theory's 2020 game Bleeding Edge. However, it also discussed how Muse could help preserve classic video games in the future. Today's countless classic games tied to aging hardware are no longer playable by most people, said Gaming AI Corporate VP Fatima Kardar. Thanks to this breakthrough, we are exploring the potential for Muse to take older back catalog games from our studios and optimize them for any device. We believe this could radically change how we preserve and experience classic games in the future and make them accessible to more players. To imagine that beloved games lost to time and hardware advancement could one day be played on any screen with Xbox is an exciting possibility for us. Maybe. It's like, it's kind of weird to think about that. Hey, I can show you a few frames of Jet Set Radio Future and have like a database of how that game would play and all the levels would look like, and the game would generate by itself. I don't think we're there yet. Like I feel this is a little bit of PR speech as well, of like them hyping up the tech to be like, hey, this is like could be pretty useful to us in the future, but not really like, this is not a thing that's happening now, right? Or if it's happening now, it's not in a good on a state that's good enough for them to actually deliver something to the audience. So yeah, like I don't expect this to be effective for like 2 or 3 years. I think maybe more. We are building on our strong history and delivering backwards compatibility to our players, and we remain committed to bringing forward the amazing library of Xbox games for future generations of players to enjoy. Yeah, according to a leaked company memo, Xbox established a new team last year dedicated to game preservation and backward compatibility for its future hardware. I mean, yeah, like this also goes in tandem with their Xbox Anywhere kind of situation, right? Or everything's an Xbox. So if you can play any game on any device coming from an Xbox, right, or coming from the Xbox division, that would be pretty cool, right? You could like you can get your phone and be like, yeah, I'm gonna play Blinks the Time Sweeper right now because it's just on the Game Pass, and I do have that service here, so I'm just gonna play it. We'll see how this pans out though, as like, because I think we still need to have a lot of quality control around AI stuff. And if like they just let the machine generate stuff for itself, the most probable thing to happen is like the game will come out like shit. And I think like a lot of this AI talk is basically this, like they're trying to hype up something. Yeah, sure, it's actually pretty, like the tech is pretty decent, right? It works kinda. But I don't see a future where the games are just generated by AI, right? You do need people that know how this stuff works. Otherwise, like you're just typing random shit into a prompter and hoping it works. And that will cost money. That will cost time. And I guess investors won't be very happy when where they're like in a future where their hard invested money just nets them poor quality products that no one's interested in using it, right? So yeah, like we'll see how this goes. We'll see like what develops from here. Smaller piece of news here. Gamescom Asia is merging with Thailand Game Show and moving to Bangkok. Merger will create the region's biggest gaming event. To be fair, I don't think Gamescom Asia was that big of a deal, right? At least compared to like Gamescom Germany. At least like, again, this is my perspective. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's like it's a small show, but compared to like we had, you have Tokyo Game Show, you have Gamescom, and you have the TGAs and also the Summer Game Fest. Like besides those 4 shows, and even the TGAs are not that big of a deal compared to announcements and all that. Like those 3 shows that remains, like Gamescom Asia was not even like a feature for most people. So like I don't know, like even the Thailand game show, like it's like I guess they're just pulling their forces together and try to be a little bit like more relevant to the overall video game panorama. But it's just like it's something to keep an eye on in case like there's new announcements or new stuff coming out of here. But it will not be like very relevant, at least in the few upcoming years. Weird news though. From Software did not want Sony to publish Dark Souls, as it was disappointed by how Demon Souls was treated. This was so From Software didn't want to work on Demon Souls sequel because because it was disappointed on the way the game was handled. Former PlayStation executive Shuei Yoshida claims. Shuei Yoshida has been giving a lot of interviews lately, and some interesting news is coming out of there. I wanted to highlight this one because he talked about being forced to go into indies, and he's talking about like how PlayStation was kind of run on his days there. But the fact that From Software did not want Sony to be handling Dark Souls, because they presented Demon Souls to Sony and Sony handled the publishing rights overall. But yeah, Sony decided to not localize Demon Souls for an English language release. So basically they decided to give the game to Atlas on the US, and in Europe it was published by Bandai Namco. Sony did not believe that Demon Souls was going to be a big hit. And I mean, it was not a big hit, but it was a cult hit, right? But I guess that's also in part because how Sony handled it, of not wanting to spread the game further. They did not believe the Western audiences were interested in such a hard game. So they went to Atlas and went to Bandai just to publish those games here. But speaking to Sacred Symbols podcast, former president Yoshida explained that Sony did not want to work on the sequel to Demon Souls with From Software. But the developer turned it down and instead decided to work with Bandai Namco on what would become Dark Souls. From Software was already working on the sequels, but they were so disappointed with how the PlayStation team treated them. We wanted to work with them again, but they passed on it. So, like, in a world where Sony would actually handle Demon Souls better, we could have seen Dark Souls being a Sony exclusive right from the get-go, which was crazy, honestly, to me. We have a huge respect for Miyazaki, and we were able to work with them again. Bloodborne is one of his best games, says Yoshida. So in an interview with Game Informer back in 2012, you probably can't access this link. Oh, it's a web archive. Okay. Yoshida gave more detail on Sony's decision not to localize Demon Souls for the West, admitting that it didn't get the appeal at first. For my personal experience with Demon Souls, when it was close to the final, I spent close to 2 hours playing it, and after 2 hours, I was still standing at the beginning of the game. He recalled at the time. I said, this is crap. This is an unbelievable bad game, so I put it aside. Luckily, third-party publishers Atlas in North America and Namco in Europe stepped in. And it really became a great hit outside of Japan. We definitely dropped the ball from a publishing standpoint, including studio management and side. We were not able to see the value of the product we were making. And this like happens all the time, right? Like you pitch a game, you work on a game, and you pitch it to a publisher, and maybe the publisher hands it to someone who is not into those types of games, and they make the shot. They call the shot of, hey, we're not publishing this, or we're just publishing this in like some territories that we think we are certain that there will be interest, but not the others. And like they don't know, right? It's a shot in the dark as to why you feel like if the game is going to be successful or not. It honestly goes for everything. Like you never know what's the actual outcome. But to see like the consequences of those actions, like years down the line, hindsight is very like 2020, obviously, when you think about it after so long. But it's funny to see that this could have been a Sony game. Dark Souls could have been a Sony franchise from the get-go, and now we would not have like as many games to play on different platforms like we had Dark Souls on PC and Xbox. So yeah, quite interesting, I'd say. Like it was a pretty interesting piece of news that I found it was pretty funny just to highlight. In the meantime, this comes from in the sequence of what we were talking about last week about the state of gaming 2025 and revenue sources from new games. GTA 6 Rockstar is reportedly planning Roblox and Fortnite style user-generated content. Rockstar has already met with top creators regarding GTA 6, exclaimed. This is all like allegedly, okay, so like not really like confirmed. But that's according to the new report from Digiday, which cites 3 industry insiders with knowledge of the meetings. It's claimed that Rockstar is planning to allow creators to modify GTA 6 gaming environment and assets to bring their own intellectual property into its sandbox. Creators in other user-generated game platforms such as Fortnite and Roblox can generate revenue by receiving a portion of their virtual item sales. That's a whole like can of worms that we can deep dive into it, as Roblox is not exactly the most I'm gonna say friendly in terms of revenue generated for users. Roblox platform takes a really big cut, over 50% actually, from their users, of the revenue they generate. If you actually want to get that revenue turned into actual money, if you convert it to Roblox dollars, that's fine. I think it's like 20% or something. But if you convert Roblox, or Robux as they call it, I think the percentage is over 50. I'm gonna say 60, I believe. Do not take my word for that, but I think it's 50 something percent. So you actually lose more than half of your money that you made. Actually, People Make Games has a really good piece, 2 actually good pieces on Roblox content. And it's kind of creepy to see that you have 14-year-olds that develop Roblox games on their free time already suffering from burnout, which is quite scary because they do not have systems in place to stop users like that are below underage, basically, like to generate these types of content. So yeah, this obviously like makes 2 things, which is Rockstar will implement user-generated content and probably like have some type of in-game currency like they have with the shark cards, I guess. And players will build stuff inside Rockstar's game, or like inside GTA 6, and be able to like make separate experiences. I'm gonna call them experiences, maybe not full games, but like you can create separate experiences of the main game. And if you want to like monetize them in some way, part of the revenue will go towards you, and also like the majority of the revenue will go towards Rockstar. I don't think it kills the game. Actually, I think it makes it last a lot, right? Because it's actually the opposite. If you think of how Fortnite and how Roblox are able to be standing like after so many years, it's because of they have like several revenue sources, right? And obviously Fortnite has the skins. With Roblox, it's exactly how they are doing this. It's like you can buy stuff in game and buy stuff for you to build your own game or your own experience inside the game, and users generate the content, so they don't need to actually do a lot. They just need to make sure the game is working properly well with the stuff that you implement along the years, just to and like let the user generate the content that they want. So basically, if you have a big player pool like GTA 6 will most likely have, you can probably find any type of game inside it, right? Because like if you look at Roblox, you have horror games, you have platforming games, you have story games, you have fashion games, right? Cozy games. You just need to kind of look what you want inside of that platform, and you keep players engaged inside. So yeah, I think it's like, honestly, if you had any doubts that GTA 6 will be like obviously one of the year's biggest releases, but probably another game that will last decades like GTA 5 will or was, like this is just another good point of like, hey, GTA 6 is still like a release miles like above anything else that will come out this year. Again, not interested in GTA 6 personally, but this GTA has always been a series that changes the industry in some way or another. I mean, if you look at like how the game evolved, like if you see GTA 1 and GTA 2, and they are almost like arcade-ish, right? Like you got the top-down view and you had the score systems and the quests, but it's very arcade-ish. But at that time, it was actually like quite amazing how you could do so many stuff in that game for a game in like 1992, I believe, or 1994 maybe, I don't know. But like crazy, right? You could like kill anyone, you could rob a car, you could do quests, you could do drug trades in that game, explore a whole town for such an early state of like modern gaming, right? And it kind of changed a lot of the industry just because of the tech itself. But then you had GTA 3 coming in. Like GTA 2 was just like a follow-up. Obviously, like it was bigger, it was better. But I don't think it made so much of like it didn't shake the industry as much because it was just a follow-up of that game. But if you see GTA 3 and the follow-up to it, it's like at that point, people did not even knew how to describe what GTA 3 was. Because like early access of those games, like from like some journalists say that they felt the game was like too complex at the time. Like obviously now it's a pretty standard game, right? But at the time you were presenting like a game like you've never seen before. It was like an open world, a whole city to explore. You had quests, you had an aiming system, you could rob cars, all in the 3D environment. And they were not like most people that were trying out that game, GTA 3, right? They were not aware that the game would be so gigantic. Now obviously like it's a small game for like if you look at it from today's perspective, right? But if you look like at that time at that point in time, people were like, this is just a weird game. And when the game came out and everyone was playing it, they're like, oh shit, they really made this, right? Like they like obviously you had like the influence of drivers, like the driver game that also influenced the 3D aspect of it. But you look at GTA 3 and it's like, oh shit, they made polygonal GTA, which is crazy to think about if you think about in terms of technology at the time and like the horsepower the consoles had at the time. GTA 3 was absolutely crazy. Like it was deemed impossible, right? So yeah, like it's like the way then the game like grew up. Like you had Vice City and you had like GTA San Andreas, which were just like GTA 3 but bigger and better. And then you had 4 with the physics and the bigger city and more explorable city. And then you had 5 with 3 protagonists. Like every major game of that franchise completely turned the industry like on its head, because it's like, hey, we can do this now. Yeah, you need a big budget to do this, but you can do this now if you have the funds for it. So GTA 6 will probably be another one. Yeah, like GTA, like yeah, like it's yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be the biggest release that you'll have on this of this year and probably of the upcoming years. Like the game will probably last. I don't believe they'll fumble it at all. So yeah, like having user generated content on a game like this, like it will probably set another standard, right? Yeah, like biggest release ever in media, movies, games, like whatever. Like it's gonna be absolutely crazy. And like if you think about it, existing in the timeline where you can see GTA 6 being released, it's actually kind of nuts. On the downer side, and speaking of currency, Nintendo is ending my Nintendo Gold points. The Switch eShop rewards. So like if you buy a Nintendo game right now on Switch, you could swap it for gold coins. 1 gold coin is 1 cent, I believe. I need to find a game that costs €5.60, so I can spend mine right now. But yeah, on March 25, 2025, the ability to earn gold points will end. It said in a statement on my Nintendo website. After this date, the player will no longer be able to earn gold points when purchasing digital software, either on the eShop or via download code. According to the statement, players who already have gold points after March 25 will still be able to use them before they expire. Gold points are valid for 12 months from the date they were earned. This leads me to believe like they are not following up with this on the Switch too. Like they'll probably have another system in place. I don't think they'll keep the same type of system though, where you buy a game and you get rewards. Maybe they'll have like more sales coming up. That's gonna be a lie for sure. But maybe they'll implement another system to, you know, hook games on buying sprees. Hook gamers actually on buying sprees. Like you buy a game, you get some points, and you then can use those points to like take a little bit away of the second purchase and just accumulate gold points. But I don't believe like a similar system will be available on the Nintendo Switch too. I'm gonna leave this for last because we're like doing this live, so like I didn't have time to prepare. In the meantime, Tyshawn Jones claims he's in the roster for an unannounced Tony Hawk remaster. Skater has claimed he will appear in the upcoming unannounced Tony Hawk game remaster. Appearing on the Breakfast Club podcast, skater Tyshawn Jones claimed that he will be featured in a new video game of the Dormant series. I mean, a Tony Hawk coming out, that's cool. They got a new one, they're remastering, so that's about to come out. I was in the last one. Tyshawn Jones appeared in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, despite being too young to feature in the original games. The collection of remakes used some of the original rosters, but also included current skaters, meaning Jones could be once again included in the roster for a game he wasn't originally a part of. A new Tony Hawk video game has been referenced multiple times, not least of which by Tony Hawk himself. That's true, like a few months ago, Tony Hawk also was said. Last one was Epic exclusive, but it's already on Steam, so it was just like for a year. For the series' 25th anniversary last year, Hawk took to Instagram and to tease the series had a future. That tease came just weeks after an evocative YouTube interview in which Hawk said, "I wish I could tell you more, but I can tell you that I've been talking to Activision again. We're working on something." So yeah, a lot of people are waiting for 3 and 4, and I guess you guys also are waiting for 3 and 4. I guess that's the obvious like route to go, because I don't see a remaster of 3 being like just specific just of the 3, the third one not being a good thing. And like I love Tony Hawk. Like some people in chat that know me, like they know I like it's probably one of my favorite gaming series of all time. I honestly don't think 4 is that good. Like it's not bad, but it's like they were developing the games as they went along, like as they added more trick systems and more ways of planning your routes, and like you had a lot of experimenting to do during 1, 2, and 3, right? But when it came to 4, so if you play the previous ones like 1, 2, and 3, you had the 2-minute run timer, you had like the small levels, you had the tricks that kept like getting more and more involved. Like you had the revert coming out on 3, you had the manual on Tony Hawk 2, so you could keep the combo going. 4 introduced another trick to the system, which was the ramp transfer, where you could like, it's a spine transfer where if you had like 2 ramps going like this, you could jump from one to another and keep going along the route. But they also made like the major difference, the major differentiating thing of that specific entry was that they took out the timer completely. Like the 2-minute timer for you to complete a level was gone, and you had like more open levels, but also like NPCs giving you quests, which was kind of weird for what the game was like. It felt a little bit unnatural for what the game was trying to be, because so this is going to sound kind of weird. I think Tony Hawk is not a skate game, but Tony Hawk is a platforming game, right? Like it's you just happen to walk on to travel around on a skateboard. But if you think about it, like it's like a collectathon, right? You have the secret tapes, you have the skate ladders, you have the combo ladders like just floating on top, on the middle of the stage. You can grab cash, and then you have like some special goals, like do X amount of points, do like it's very arcadish and platformy at their core. And 4 like kind of took it away, and they're like, hey, we made this more realistic looking level for you to walk around, because obviously like games were obviously trying to be more realistic as time went on, right? And they were like aiming for that more realistic approach in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, but you were still doing like impossible high jumps and like rotations that were gravity defying. So it kind of clashed. The levels were not that interesting in Tony Hawk 4. But then you got to like Tony Hawk's Underground, Tony Hawk's Underground 1, or Thug if you want. Thug, it's probably like it's that vision. It's that vision, but well realized. So 4 feels like that middle step between 3 and Underground 1, where they did not went full on the open world kind of thing that they wanted to do, but they also didn't want to stay in the like the primordial constrictions of the original series. It felt like a half step, but they were kind of scared to go all the way out. And then, like, obviously Thug came along and you had the story that was more developed, you had the trick systems, American Wasteland introduced bikes and a bunch of other stuff. Even Project 8 and the other one, I forgot the name, Proving Grounds, they were kind of cool. Like, it felt like the natural evolution of the series, especially if you take into account that you had Skate coming out from EA, and they introduced a new type of systems to do tricks with. Although Skate it's definitely a skater simulator and not like as an arcadey, but it felt like the natural evolution of the series. Project AUF Hospital Bills, that's true. Like I still remember playing that game like to completion in the 360 era, and it was pretty dope. That being said, like I feel like a DLC for 1+2 with the levels of 3 would probably be a better fit than, I don't know, like maybe having a remaster of 3 and 4. It would probably be kind of weird because those games don't match each other that well. So yeah, I don't know, like it just feels, having a 3 and 4, like it feels like it's not the best thing they could have come up with. That's me obviously like talking, and obviously if they give me 3 + 4, I'm just gonna buy it. I like, fuck it, just I'm gonna go for it, obviously, like I did with 1+2. But I feel like there could be better work involved for just like making a remaster of those 2 games. But yeah, you know, like Tony Hawk, man, like I don't feel Skate is that relevant anymore as well. Do not remake 5. 5, it's one of those games like it does not exist. 5 was the worst trick system they ever tried to do. Like, it does not make any freaking sense. Levels were bad. The online hub was shitty. I don't think there's a single redeemable quality in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. So they should probably make, if they want to make a new one, they should probably call it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 brackets for real this time. This one's the real deal. Or we did not fuck it up this time. Jesus, man, like that game. I remember, like, I think it was Globku that bought the game and reviewed it, and he said, yeah, like it's not that bad. And I'm like, okay, I want to try it. So I went to his place and tried Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, and my initial reaction was, what the fuck did they do with the trick system? Like, why is this so fucking shit? They had a system where, like, you would jump, and if you press triangle midway through the jump, you would hard drop into the rail below, which makes it sound like, okay, it's kind of cool, because I can just, like, stop my fall from, like, or my jump from going overboard and just carry on with the grind. But most of the time it will just conflict itself if you want to do like a rail grind next to a wall, and you want to do a wall ride instead of a rail grind. You would try to go for the wall ride, and the skate will just immediately drop into the rail. You know, like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So I just kept the combo going on the rail instead of going through, like, trying to clear a gap on the wall ride. It was just absolutely fucking shit. Like, I cannot believe that team fumbled up the most basic things about like a Tony Hawk game, which is how the gameplay feels. So yeah, like hope the new remaster, like if it goes as 1 and 2 went, like it will probably be just another banger. In the meantime, Limited Run Games says 2 of his recent NES release could damage the console. This was actually sent by Rene to me, and I am there's like a big conversation to have about Limited Run and the way this business is, I guess, run, pun not intended. So Limited Run like does a thing where they like take indie games or like games that don't have physical releases, and they make limited releases of those games on several platforms. And like there's so many problems with that on a base level or on several levels to me. That's like, this is just, it's so bad that something like this exists, and at the same time it's even worse that they're not doing a good job of it. So first of all, like obviously it's one of the traits of having a more digital society, I guess. Let me turn on the monitor a little bit better, because this microphone was falling. So like it's the downsides of having a digital like environment, right? Like you don't have as many games coming out that they are on a physical device. And I wish companies would stop doing that, obviously, but I realize the costs of publishing and distribution and all that are getting higher and higher. So and games are getting bigger and bigger. So not every game can just come on a Blu-ray. Even like not even a Blu-ray is enough to keep some of the games that are coming out. And obviously, like I realize, like it's impossible. I wish though, like the things of having physical games was not restricted to companies taking advantage of the players that want physical games, and like putting that game on a physical disc cartridge or whatever, and like making those players pay a lot extra for what sometimes is just a game on a cart, right? I understand it's a limited run, like they say in their own name, but it's something that I believe, like it's just shitty for you to like take a $10 game, or I think it's a $10 game that they made with Puyo Puyo, and they are selling the boxed version for $40. And like, fuck you, right? Like, I'm not gonna pay extra $30 for a game that costs $10 just to have it on a box. I understand collectors will still do that. Obviously, it's fine. But it feels like I'm not gonna say it's a scam, but it feels like what's basically like a legal scalper will do, right? Because you're taking games that are cheaper and putting them on a box and selling them for like 3 times the price. It's basically being professional scalper, which like ethically just makes my blood boil. But I get it. Like I understand it's a business model. Like if you want it, you buy it. I hate it, so I'm not gonna buy it. And the second one, it's cases like you were saying, like cases coming in broken, games coming in that are not working, poor quality plastic or materials being used for special editions, and now games fucking up their original consoles. So they're porting some of the Rugrats games to the NES, and they are warning people to say, hey, don't put these games on your NES for real. Otherwise, you might risk damaging your own console. And it's like, that's the whole reason why I fucking bought this game. it's to play this game on original hardware. So what's going on here, right? Like the quality control of this thing, it's crazy, right? Yeah, like 20 years later, obviously, we know it's a right. Yeah, we know it's a problem 20 years later. But I hate that these professional scalpers are fucking doing this, and they're not even doing a fucking good job. Fangamer is the same. I heard problem with stuff like Fangamer. And again, if you just want to have the game on a box on your shelf, I get it. Like, it's fine. I love my physical media. It's fine. And I wish, like, especially indie game releases that have bigger publishers like Devolver and stuff would have more physical releases that were made in-house and not giving the titles to these motherfuckers. Otherwise, like, I don't care if you have like a booklet now, or like that's the standard. Just give me a physical release of a game in a cartridge, like it's an indie game. And from what I understand, like Nintendo has cartridges of different sizes that you can, if it's an indie game, you could probably can fit your game on the smallest one. So yeah, limited run, fucking up consoles now. Game Boy Color games cartridge in 2025. Yeah, like the thing is, like, there's a lot of communities that are still developing games for older consoles. Like we were talking GTA not long ago, not even 5 minutes ago. GTA was ported to Dreamcast. Like they say so at some point, like there was a prototype for GTA 3 to run on a Dreamcast, but they oh no, not the 2D one. Like GTA on a Dreamcast was 3D, right? Like the first GTA 3 came out for what? PS2? GTA 3 was PlayStation 2, and then yeah, obviously it has like Android and PC and all that. But GTA 3 was ported to Dreamcast. And people said like it was not being able. Let's check the Digital Foundry video actually, which I think is usually they're quite good.
From 1998 until 2001, the Dreamcast burned brightly, but that dream came to an end early, and as a result,
no. This was ported like from PS2 to the Dreamcast.
As new games released on other platforms, however, many Dreamcast fans wondered, would these games have been possible on Sega's console? Well, with the unofficial release of Grand Theft Auto 3 on Sega Dreamcast, we finally have an answer for at least one of those questions. You see, Grand Theft Auto 3 is indeed possible on the Dreamcast, and this remarkable homebrew conversion is the proof many of us have long waited for. Of course, one of the things I was most curious to see for myself is how it stacks up against the PlayStation.
So yeah, like
2
it's not a perfect port, right? Like you have like shittier frame rate, for instance.
Version of the game, all while discussing some of its limitations and amazing new features, and how some of these things will be solved in time. So they've
versus the motion. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh, stop it.
Implemented two types of selectable trails, implemented in a slightly different way.
Look at the motion mode. Like there's differences, obviously. Like the Dreamcast was not supposed to run this, but people are still making games.
Like this.
People are still making games for
PlayStation 2, giving it a motion blur.
For older systems. You had a Portuguese game actually, Alentejo game. I forgot the name now. Tinto's Law, exactly. You've bought it? So that game runs on the Game Boy Color. Like, you can actually play this game, and if you put the ROM there, you can actually play it. Right? And there, like, this happens to a lot of stuff. Like, Mega Drive games are coming out. Actually, I can give a very specific shout out. I don't know if he does like Twitch streams. Let me check it out. I think it's with a 1. Spectrum Games, yeah. Okay, I don't think he has a Twitch, but you guys can check here. Okay, he does not have a Twitch. But you guys can check out Stika. I'm not gonna show most of his thumbnails because he gets pretty risky on his thumbnails, but Stika, he appears on the podcast. Which one? Usually covers these types of games that are being made now, and he has a lot of videos of new Mega Drive games or new Game Boy Advance games. So yeah, like the community is still alive. Nah. Stika like does risky thumbnails, and I don't want to risk it. But that's the way he gets his audience. So like not even kink shaming here. Like he tries to get the best shot at like their games being successful. So yeah. In the meantime, like Pixel Hunter, yeah. So yeah, like obviously, like limited run games is trying to like take advantage of this, and it's not great, man. Like if you are doing professional scalping, at least like make sure the product actually works. Which like yeah, I'll probably never buy anything from them. In the meantime, a new Pokemon Presents was announced. The Pokemon Company has announced its annual Pokemon Presents presentation to celebrate Pokemon Day. Hasn't revealed any specific information about what's going to be shown at the event or how long it is planned to last, but with Pokemon Legends ZA planned for release later this year, it's likely that the company will show the first new footage of the game. Set for release in the original Nintendo Switch console, it will be the second Pokemon Legends game following Legends Arceus. And we'll see players revisit the Kalos region and Lumoise City. Lumoise? Lumoise? How do you even say this? I'm not even sure. So yeah, Pokemon getting ready to like start showing new stuff. That will be February 27. I believe that's same date as the IGN Xbox presentation. I forgot. Showcase 20 at ID, right? ID Xbox presentation 2025. God damn it, Google, and Google being useless. Oh no, actually it's 24. So 24 next week. Next week on Monday, we have the ID Xbox showcase. I'm not going to stream that. I do not have the time to be streaming that. We'll talk about it on Thursday. And then you have Pokemon Presents on 27th. That's on the next Thursday. Which time is it? 2 p.m. UTC? Let me see the conversion. It's 4 p.m. So we'll probably talk about it on the show next after it. And yeah, I'm not sure what I expect here, to be honest, like besides ZA. I'm not sure, like maybe new stuff for the new card game that they have. Maybe some new stuff for Pokemon Sleep, but not really like anything new besides the ZA game. And speaking of Pokemon, hello Kotowaga, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And yeah, in the meantime, Niantic, so the company that makes Pokemon Go, is in talks to sell its games division to Saudi-owned firm. I'm kind of learning this as we go along, so like let's follow with me here. Mobile game developer Niantic is reportedly in talks to sell its gaming division, which includes the mobile hits Pokemon Go and Monster Hunter Now, to Scopely. Okay, that's the name of the company, part of the Saudi-owned Savi Games Group. It's reported that the deal What? What's going on? Oh yeah. What? Sent you an episode on Discord? What do you mean? To launch more AAA games with seizures? Hopefully not. Oh, the podcast where Sticky appears. Okay. Is it what on the news? No. I'll check it out later, though. Yeah, in the meantime, like, yeah, it's reported that the deal like could reach 3.5 billion, may close in coming weeks, but it's also said there is currently no assurance an agreement will be reached. So yeah, Niantic's main gaming asset, Pokemon Go, would be included in the deal. The game, which is one of the most successful mobile titles of all time, allows players to catch Pokemon by walking around real-life locations. Yeah. The game uses Google Map technology to determine where Pokemon spawn in game. Niantic has attempted to recreate the success of Pokemon Go with other brands, such as the now defunct Harry Potter's Wizards Unite and the currently active Monster Hunter Now. Not sure how these two fared. Obviously, like compared to Pokemon Go, nothing would fare as well. But I like, obviously, like Pokemon Go makes a lot of money, and I'm not sure like how this deal would go if it was not even like close. They also made the Witcher game, right? Yeah, I forgot they made the Witcher. It's unclear how such sale will impact the company's licensing rights with both the Pokemon Company and Capcom, but Bloomberg claims its gaming titles would be included in the deal rather than just the team behind it. Scopely is a mobile gaming firm that was acquired in 2023 by the Savvy Games Group, just shy of $5 billion. Savvy Games is one arm of the Saudi Public Investment Fund. The PIF, so the Public Investment Fund from Saudi Arabia, which has made a series of investments in the video game industry in recent years, is reportedly central to the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's goal of making the Saudi economy less reliant on proceeds from oil. The fund acquires 5% stake at Nintendo, May 2022. As of mid-2024, this has grown to 8.58% of the company, but later last year they reduced to 7.54%. A move which still makes it one of Nintendo's largest shareholders. There's some concerns here. Like Rene talked to me about this. Let's not forget that Niantic, maybe a year ago, I believe, they used the data that they collected using Pokemon Go to develop an AI, right? Let me see if it shows up here. Hopefully not. Okay, let me see. Niantic use data for AI. Let me see if it shows up like this. There you go. USA Today. Let's go. This was from. There's no data on this article. That's so good. I love when articles have no dates. Fuck. Ars Technica. Okay, Ars Technica usually is good on this one. This was 19th November 2024, so it's not even like a full. Yep, that's it. Last week, Niantic announced plans to create an AI model for navigating the physical world using scans collected from players of its mobile games, such as Pokemon Go, and from users of its Scaniverse app. So yeah, they use the AI model with the data that they collected from their funny game business, right? Oh yeah, like you're catching Pokemons, but you're also collecting our data. Ha ha ha. I don't. So with Saudi Arabia lately has been investing a lot in other stuff. Like they say on their on this news that we were just checking, right? Saudi Arabia and Niantic Pokemon Go stuff. They're saying that the public investment fund like is trying to move away Saudi Arabia economy less reliant from oil, right? Like the more we talk about oil being scarce and like starting to like as vehicles also start to go from oil to electric cars and hybrid cars and hydrogen cars, like we obviously like try to like they're trying to move away like their investments to also accommodate with the changing times. I don't feel it's scary as much because like obviously they have a lot of data on Niantic's part, but I also believe that like there's probably worse stuff on their side already. To like if you want to go like, oh yeah, like it's scary that Saudi Arabia has like a bunch of our data, like there's probably worse on their side. But also like if you think about it, Saudi Arabia right now, for instance, the SNK stuff, it's coming mostly from them. Like SNK is now Saudi owned. So like if you are concerned about like data collecting from there, you know, maybe you shouldn't buy the new Metal Slug Tactics that came out, or maybe you shouldn't buy the new City of Wolves that's coming out, or the new King of Fighters, because it's all Saudi owned. Obviously, like it's not as bad as like having a bunch of data collected through millions and millions of people playing Pokemon Go. But I also feel like this is a lot of like it's a concern that's not yeah, the human situation is right in Saudi, like it's a different thing, but I'm gonna say that most of them most of the people doing this investment fund, it's people that they do not care of the rest of the world, right? So it's like they trying to build their country and like making money for their country, but they are not about to interfere with whatever situation people run on other countries, right? And it's mostly like if you are investing, and usually, this is also true for people like, you know, CEOs and investors and all that. Most of the people that, you know, we hear about, the LGBT rights, the gay rights, trans rights, the racism stuff happening all over the world, and like the woke people, the woke agenda and all that, I can assure you that people investing in like companies, they do not give a single shit about, or rather, like maybe not giving a single shit is maybe not the wrong word. It's a wrong word. It's more like, if you want to do those games and those types of games, they will not put a stop to it, as long as like if it's obviously, because like some of those countries, religion and laws go a little bit hand in hand, and if it like comes into conflict with their own values and laws, obviously you'll need to change the game for that. But on a global scale, it's like they are not going to change the game as long as you guarantee that those types of stuff, like if you want to put the woke agenda, like as long as you guarantee that if you put trans people, if you put gay people on your games, right? If you talk about politics in your games, it will make them money. They will not be opposed to having those things on their games. So yeah, like it's not like a big deal. it's more like I'm more curious to see what's going to happen with the Pokemon Go stuff, and like if Nintendo and Capcom, because of the Monster World now, they will keep the license with Niantic, because I bet this will still like make them a lot of money, right? So there's no reason for them to change hands, like, oh yeah, like now you guys were sold, so we're not going to work with you guys anymore. Like, I believe they're just like gonna keep doing the same thing. This will probably not affect anyone as much as we think it will. Right. At least that's how I see it. Like I feel the concern for these people is to make money first. That's for the good and for the bad. Like, so like if it's cool for people and they're still making money, they will do it. If it's bad for people but it still nets them money, they will still do it. Right. As long as it is within the legal, or the, I'm not gonna say legal, but like as long as it's like in some boundaries, like they are not like waging wars or something, like it should be fine. Obviously, like I get the concerns, obviously, but I feel like it's changing times at this point. Like, they are investing more and more in other types of media and like culture stuff and like tech stuff, and not being much as the oil and engaging in oil wars as they were like 10 years ago. Then again, like, this is just me talking once again. Like, I'm not an expert on this, but that's how I see it, you know, like relating this to other worldly news. What the fuck am I watching? But yeah, and last piece of news here, as we try to wrap up this podcast today. Despite its big success, Marvel Rivals director and others has been laid off. This was one of the biggest news that hit this week, with the first piece of news hinting that the whole team of Marvel Rivals was laid off. So they were like, what the fuck's going on? The game wasn't successful. The game was like, did the game flop? What happened, right? Why is the team being sent away? But then as you like dig deep into what the thing was, actually was the California team, or the US team, was the Seattle, not California. It was Seattle. The Seattle team was all fired. The team, though, like, yes, it was one of the game directors for sure, but we are talking like 10, 12 people max, probably less. And what's the big thing to take away from here is that they were fired mostly because it's probably cheaper to have the same type of thing working, or the same type of team working at a different country. I still think it, like, this is not apologizing like for this type of thing happening in the industry. This is more like looking from afar. It's like, yeah, having US teams right now for a game that's based in China, it's way too expensive for them to like keep the team going, and they'd rather just move their workforce to cheaper countries where labor is cheaper, right? Because one of the reasons why games get so expensive nowadays is like, if they're US developed, well, especially California, Seattle, and all those, like San Francisco, for instance, it's like the cost of living there, it's super expensive, so the wages need to accompany the economy, right? But if you are based in China, or if you're based in like Vietnam, or, you know, other types of like lower income countries, it's easier for you to just set up a team there and like take away some of that extra budget that you had. Also, like, one of the things to note is that, yes, they say they are like successful. They have a big player count. They say they made 1.3 billion, I believe, in the first 3 months of the game being active. We also don't know like what these numbers look like compared to their to their like predictions, right? Which means like they could look gigantic in our eyes, because like yeah, we had like 60 million players or something, 600,000 players on Steam, plus the consoles that we don't know the numbers of. But maybe they were expecting more, so we are actually not sure. So yeah, like it's still like, it fucking sucks that these teams are being sent away when the game is being so successful. Overall, like it's just plain stupid that we get to look at a game like Marvel and be like, oh yeah, this game's doing super well, like big player count, people are spending money on their skins, and then suddenly, yeah, like we still fired the team anyway. You're just like, what the fuck? Why did this happen? Like I thought the game was doing well, and it is, but you know, like it's just cheaper to have them elsewhere. Like I see. So like fuck this, I guess. So yeah, like Circana analyst Matt Piscatella noted on Tuesday that Rivals is currently among the top 5 games in the US weekly across weekly active users across PS5, Xbox Series, and Steam, according to its own player engagement tracker. It's been a massive hit. It's one of the few games that has been able to break through the live service wall. He wrote, "I don't know, folks. I just don't know." So when Marvel Rivals released its first season last month, the game saw 269 players play the game concurrently, launching it to number 14 in Steam's all-time highest concurrent player counts. So yeah, like it's just like it's just so plain stupid that like even a successful game doesn't mean you still get to keep your job. It's just stupid, I'd say. There's not like a lot of words that I can describe of like how shitty this feels to have like devs being fired from such a successful game. But you know, it is what it is. It's a small team. Definitely, I feel the like, despite being less people being laid off than the usual, like you had Iron Galaxy firing 66 devs a few weeks ago. You had Bandai Namco also like firing a couple hundred, I believe, from their Japanese headquarters. Like you had a bunch of stuff, a lot of layoffs in the last weeks that have a bigger dev count being laid off. But this one feels extra hard because like Marvel is actually being a pretty good hit. So in theory, the game is successful and no one is being laid off. But then again, turns out it's not actually the case. Which fucking sucks. I don't know if it's also related to Overwatch 2 being released in China again, because it's been released this month again, I believe, and if they want to like move all the workforce there to keep it like tightly and like have a more controlled environment, could be it. There's also like the problem of like Marvel, it's a financial success, but also like it's kind of a weird game right now because the ranking system is all fucked. The majority of players are in bronze, which is like obviously like the biggest player pool will be like the lowest ranks, because that's like what happens usually. But if you look at other games, it's like 20%, 25%. If you look at Marvel Rivals, over 60% of players are in bronze, which means the balance of this game and the matchmaking is not doing its job as it should. It's not supposed to be that high of a number, right? So yeah, like I'm not sure if they were hoping to get bigger numbers than they already had on these first weeks, but also I don't know, like if this was just purely like a budget decision of them just cutting corners and cutting costs and sending the team or transferring the team to, you know, China, I guess, or to NetEase over back in China. But yeah, this has been the news. This has been the news today. Not much to talk about. Hope you guys have a good week. As my throat dies from talking over 2 hours. Hope you guys have a good week, obviously, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here. There's not much to talk about. We'll be back next Thursday with more news, and I'll actually let you guys know if schedule changes, if stuff actually goes sideways and I need to change the way my schedule works. So yeah, stick around for the raid. We're gonna raid this guy. He's playing One Piece. Yeah, see you guys next Thursday, I guess. Bye.